okay, he's lost a little weight. But if you bait the shield, it's easy to light him up. It really is. So, but the slash thing, I got a little funny story before we get in the game. Tox was talking to 0-4, and he's like, so when are we going to get another crouch sliding?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I was going to say before we got to, we're on Blood Run.
Oh,
Anarchy. Sorlag. There's a good
Wow.
chance we could see one of those, especially when Tox. I saw Tox rip Zoot time and time again on a stream in duels when they're doing placements. I got to bring that up one more time. We're going to see him. Anarchy.
Yeah,
Very.
I love Anarchy.
2 crouch sliders in a duel just for free.
One of my favorite characters. I don't care if he's not in the meta. I'll play him anyway. But in this match, I think you got to give an edge to Tox, his experience. It's just legendary, obviously, and I think. But however, to Cha1n's credit, he's an up-and-coming player, and I think he's very dangerous. This is a dangerous game for Tox.
This is the 3rd bracket he's been in this weekend. So yeah, he's been playing in the 2v2, the college show match, as well as here today.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Blood Run. It's a best of 1, and we're already seeing Tox on Anarchy off the bat. I really want to see how this works out. We see players like Vu. The one that always comes to mind for me is Vu up against Cypher at the Italian Open, and how in the Sorlag he was able to stall for time, but I don't feel like Tox is going to be one of those players to stall for time up against him.
And we do have to remind ourselves that he is playing Anarchy, even though he's not currently flying around the map at 900 miles an hour. He certainly can at any moment. Cha1n has got his orb at the ready as well. Toxjq just routing for weapons at the moment, making sure that he's got LG, rails, and rockets at the ready. Cha1n's going to be down below rockets, looking for this next play on Mega. They're both spamming at it, both firing at it. Nobody's committing just yet, but Tox is getting a relatively safe pickup of that heavy. Still not quite wanting to drop down.
I'm surprised he's actually not spamming Tri-Bolt here, since you have the free ammo pickups right next to you. Either way, he still has that injection. Actually able to spot Cha1n out, who... So actually, out of those 3 tournaments he's played, he's already won 1 of them. Yeah. And the collegiate ones, where they beat Appalachian State. Tox going to pop that injection. Now we're starting to see him pick up the pace a little bit around the map. It's actually going to catch him out. You can see Cha1n wasn't expecting to come through the teleport at that time. LG looking to follow up with, and that rail's not going to connect, but the rocket does. And now Cha1n's low on life, and Cha1n's going to lose out on his first champion.
Missing that rail made me nervous. I mean, once you catapult yourself into an opponent and you both back off from each other, that fade array rail can be everything. So Toxjq is still going to be a little bit weaker off here as Cha1n spawns BJ. And even dual nail gun or machine gun can be so dangerous, but Toxjq just flies through, gets the pickup for the Mega, and will be heading back up to, looks like the tribal platform to get set up for the next fight.
And he's got his ability up yet again. So even if he does get low, he's going to be looking at full HP another time. That's a dual wield coming through, and the dual wield's doing, I guess, okay damage, but the problem is it's not doing enough damage. As you mentioned, Tox getting a really good disengage there with his own.
And really fantastic rockets coming out of Cha1n as well. He's looking for that last bit of chase, not quite going to get it, and as Toxjq fades through the teleporter, he's got 50 health easily available.
Actually even going to bypass those that extra 50 right there. Look at that speed he's moving around, catches Cha1n off guard. The problem is, how do you lock down Toxjq when he's on Anarchy like this? He moves so fast around the map, but it becomes so difficult to predict the angles they're going to be coming from, especially it's really hard to hear him coming at you. If he's going to be there.
It really makes you nervous on things like the heavy armor and the Mega, because if you blink and he's already skated on through, then it's going to be gone and you're not really going to have the beat on him. But here comes the play for the heavy. It's a dual LGs coming out, but Cha1n's 2 aren't quite enough against Toxjq's 1.
I mean, you can never underestimate Tox LG. And then you pair the fact that he's on a light champion who has such a small model, and the AD spam is really hard to deal with when you're up against Anarchy. Gonna come around the corner, right into Visor, looking for the mid-air rockets. He's low on HP, but again, gonna back away, but he still has that 2 champion lead, and he has timing on both items.
That was a tough place to be in Anarchy. You really don't have the room to maneuver, but he was able to pop him out of there. Wasn't quite able to get the stick air rocket, but he's still got another opportunity as he takes away heavy armor. Mega's gonna be up. Cha1n's not in a great position to collapse on it. Toxjq can drop down at will, cut him off, and so Cha1n, he doesn't even move going, there's no place really good for me to go at the moment.
Yeah, there's no items to take. There's no advantage that you can get from, I guess, moving from this angle. The vision's gonna be up in a few seconds, so be able to see Tox coming around the map. And you know, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but one thing about Anarchy that was kind of one of his weaknesses is that he's very predictable. When you have these set paths that you carve around the map, these areas you want to hit and these areas you want to clear. So people got used to that. But then again, it's been a long time since we've seen Anarchy played in Duel or Anarchy played period. So I think it takes a lot of time to kind of remember the angles you want to take.
I mean, the other thing is that not many people actually bring out Anarchy to the forefront here. So you've got players like Toxjq, players like Gelisak. You've really got to be able to kind of train specifically against them and deal with not only the timing, but the movement absolutely.
Look how fast he has to get around. 1 minute left to go, and Cha1n has to find 2 frags just to equalize things. He goes in for a play towards Heavy, but he's already low on HP. He's down to, I want to say, like 5 health. For the time, it's disappearing, and he's got to make a move. But how is he going to catch Toxjq? That's the problem.
Yeah, and so Tox is looking for this rail angle on the rocket launcher. Cha1n is really baiting him here, but throwing down a lot of spam, trying to put some pressure on the Mega. And even if Tox gets the Mega, as an Anarchy, it's not going to help him out that much more. I mean, he's actually baiting it himself. Cha1n walks right into it, and there goes that first round.
So Tox looking really good here on the Anarchy. Again, he started off very slow, like you mentioned before, collecting the weapons, and then did transition as the confidence rose to put the pressure here on the man on your screen of Cha1n.
So as we get into round 2, we're going to be looking at these initial spawns. Tox is going to get it by the rocket launcher, immediately taking a little bit of hello damage from Cha1n, who, as a ranger, you have that ability to take away both items very quickly, and great tri-bolt coming out of Cha1n to nullify that Anarchy. The first time we've seen Toxic have to switch to somebody else.
And also, we talk about Dewey, and Dewey playing Ranger, but you can never forget about Cha1n. I mean, watching him during the CSL finals just yesterday, I feel like he had at least 5 or 6 in just one of the maps alone. And I really have to respect that, and he's set up for another one potentially here too, as Mega spawning in 1 second time. Toxic wants to commit around. He doesn't have a lot of weaponry, but he has a lot of LG damage. Orb's going to come through, but he's not going to commit to it.
Not sure what that orb was for exactly, to be honest, but Toxic is still going to be able to hop back up. Very smooth movement for that heavy armor pickup. Cha1n, he had the opportunity to do some damage on it, but wanted to leave immediately and get a little bit of small armor.
Definitely see the pace has slowed down quite a bit. Toxic hop that piercing sight. Actually, no, for a rocket jump. I was hoping he was going to go for the rail shot there, but he does get the nice follow-up here, and both players extremely low on health. Cha1n's going to have to back away. Mega's up. Heavy's going to be there too, so Toxic ideally could pick up both of those, but giving some respect to Cha1n here.
Yeah, at the very least, he was able to take away Mega first, so it's not going to be Cha1n taking away all the items, but that last rocket is going to cap off that Ranger, tying them back up frag-wise. Cha1n trying to delay the spawn a little bit, making sure he's not caught by a long-range rocket from Tox. Still a bit of time before either of the items come back up, but Tox is just trying to get spawn info. The defensive nail gun coming out of Cha1n is doing a lot of work. Tox has got to kind of give up this Mega. And look at this Cha1n just pushing right in there. Tox can restack, but the Mega control has gone over to Cha1n.
I do like the position that Tox is holding too, trying to deny away not only Mega, but as well as LG. Since he saw BJ was being picked. Heavy's going to be there, but Cha1n now with a massive stack advantage.
Would have been preferable if Tox could have made that last rail before he faded back here into the recovery room. It's going to be 10 seconds to the Mega, and coming back out mid-map, it's going to be a little bit dangerous. But he's going to be seeing some of the splash damage on the stairs and down the hallway as well. He knows what's up, he's looking at it, and he doesn't even need the piercing sight to set up for this, but he's not really over-committed to it, allowing Cha1n to have a really good stack.
But he's set up for Heavy at least this time.
He's ducking out of it.
Yeah.
So he's going to be coming in a little bit late, and Cha1n can pop back through the teleporter for free. Toxic is now going to have that information at the very least, but he's got so much damage to do. That opening rail will certainly be a good start, but he's got to have many more to knock him over.
And all the while this is happening, trying to monitor those items, he's trying to deny any potential close engagements where Cha1n's dual wield can completely just decimate Toxic, since he has the LG picked up and the stack to work with. Here's Mega being secured. He knows the timing on Heavy since he saw it taken before.
Tox is trying to track through the teleporter without getting caught, but he nearly gets caught on the pillar here. He's going to need a little bit more rocket ammo, heading back over towards, he wanted to go up the stairs for heavy armor, but now he's going to be out of that position, popping the piercing sight just to make sure that Cha1n doesn't collapse on him too easily. Is Cha1n going to go through the teleporter? No, he's going to come upstairs instead. Tox is going to see it. Again, not quite getting the rail he needs. I like this rocket, and fantastic LG out of both of them. Toxic could have stayed around there for the 225s, but it was just a little bit too risky. But now he's going to collapse down here for Mega. Cha1n is going to be nowhere near it, actually. And with 2 seconds to heavy armor, Toxic is going to be a little bit too late for the pickup, but he might be able to do some pressure.
Luckily for him, he's able to get finally one of the items when it seems like it's been quite a bit of time before he's able to get one. The control was definitely favoring Cha1n, and going to be dropping down. I think Cha1n's waiting for Mega to spawn in, even though we know it's another 10 seconds away. He pushes in directly. There's going to be no dual wield, and Tox LG is going to stick true. Now he's got the champion lead, and he has a minute left here now in the second round.
Yeah, there were a couple factors there. For one, Toxic knew that the dual wield had been popped, and he knew the timing for the Mega a little bit better. He thought, hey, you're trying to hatch a Mega that's not going to come, and you've only got one LG. So really good read there from Tox, and now, like you said, he's one frag away from capping off the round. And with this heavy up, it's going to be baited by Toxjq just a little bit. Cha1n going, you know what, it's not worth it. I do need a rocket launcher. You can have the heavy for now.
Just kind of unfortunate that the last champion that Cha1n does have isn't the playmaker, isn't the ranger, just to go for that quick shove and have a chance in those last 30 seconds to equalize things. If he somehow does kill Toxjq, though, going into the final sudden death part of this with the vision advantage over BJ is going to be massive.
I mean, the fact that Tox is sandbagging the last 20 seconds here, it's really showing a lot of respect to Cha1n. Tox isn't just flying off the handle and going, hey, I can take you down for free. He's actually being quite diligent here, just making sure he's staying defensive.
Yeah, he's going to run this one out too. 7 seconds left to go. Cha1n has to go for the catch. But the stack Toxjq has is going to be too difficult to deal with. And Toxjq will now go up 2-0 here in our best of 1 on Blood run.
Oh, a really measured approach from Toxjq, not getting too flashy. Not this early in the morning.
It's calculated.
Yeah,
he is the
that's it exactly. All right, but as we roll into round 3, Cha1n, I think he's trying to make some good reads here, and they are actually getting around each other quite a bit, but when it comes to actually committing to the fight, that's the tough thing. So now Toxjq is going to be back on his Anarchy. If Cha1n shows up here in the hallway, he's going to be facing a lot of trouble. Cha1n won't even be able to get away with that LG before he has to escape.
I like how Toxjq's using injections as well. It seems like he's using it for speed most of the time, just to get around the map quickly.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, it's fun if you can have the ability to move like that, or as I run into walls the entire time. 50 HP left. That rocket did a serious amount of work to Toxjq. Mega's going to be there. Heavy's going to be there as well. And it looks like Toxjq is trying to fare towards the heavy side because he basically has a pocket Mega every 40 or so odd seconds.
Yeah, it was a little bit risky not picking up a railgun a little bit earlier, but now he's got his hands on it. Cha1n's going to be back in the recovery room. Tox taking away all the health he can, immediately popping the injection once again. That guy's just addicted, but Cha1n not quite committing to that dire orb. Coming back around to the top here, it's going to be a little bit dangerous for him. We're going to have to see if Tox can get the spam off.
Cha1n, I mean, his orbs can be good, but it's very difficult to do that against an Anarchy. Heavy's going to be there, Mega as well. The fight's still breaking out towards the tribal platform, and Tox is looking to contest him. I think Cha1n missed the jump over towards Heavy to steal it away, but he does get Mega in time, and Tox is going to feel comfortable enough to push back up towards Heavy, secure that one in his pocket, and he has an injection another time. So even though he didn't get Mega, he still has that massive overstack.
This is where Cha1n has really just got to start thinking. He's like, okay, cool, I've got a bit of a stack advantage. It is an Anarchy. If I could just find him and force a fight, this could really go my way. I need to know when he's wanting to get an LG. I need to know when he's heading down to Mega. But Toxjq has been incredibly slippery here. Cha1n even tries to set a trap on the teleporter exit. They both take a lot of damage. Backing off here towards the rocket launcher for Toxjq. Mega's up, Heavy's up. They both collapse on the Mega, and Cha1n has got to duck out of there. That's giving Toxjq enough time as that Anarchy to slide back in and get full control of Mega and armor.
Again, you see the speed right there based off of that. The fact that he moved around so quickly, was able to take away Mega before Cha1n could get there and then sneak his way up towards Heavy. It's unfortunate for Cha1n, but as you said, he needs to just think of what's the next point of attack.
Oh, no. With
the stack Toxjq has, he's going to get that first frag on the board, and now Cha1n, I mean, you have to assume the BJ's coming out of him.
Yep, and Toxjq is looking for a quick return on the spawn, and he might just get it here. Can Cha1n actually get out of here before Toxjq finds a way to collapse on him? Mega's going to be taken, Heavy's going to be up. Is Cha1n even going to show up here? It would be risky, but just as risky would be staying in the power-up room.
It's just kind of funny to see Tox playing so passive, even though he's on Anarchy, but I guess, you know, with the current state of Anarchy, you have to be calculated in your attacks. You have to only take fights that you know you can win, and chip damage just does wonders to Anarchy. Just a rail or two just, you know, keeps him so low on health, and more importantly, the armor, which is such a massive thing to have, especially when going against LG.
In a lot of these champion matchups, you really have to know what your win condition is. Toxjq's is, hey, I need to be able to cycle the items real quick, maybe bait Cha1n into using his dual LG very early, and even if he's got a bigger stack, that's when I can maybe push in and get some work done.
Uh-oh.
He knows the ability's been used here, and here comes a bit more aggression. Oh, no, the ability's just now been used. It's going to be the last portion of that, but it's the LG coming out of Toxjq anyway to get that frag, putting him on match point.
Even stopping by for some extra HP just to survive a rail if it did come out cheeky-like. Also waiting for Mega to spawn back in on top of that. It's a big window between the two items, and Cha1n's got to be careful. Every fight he takes has to be so calculated. Toxjq able to get the Mega. Cha1n going to run away in the meantime. Heavy's going to be up in 3 seconds. We know how quick Toxjq can get there, especially with the injection, but he's going to back off instead. The thing is, I like this. Like, I like someone who's not so cocky, knowing they're up by 2 champions and in the last round to not get aggressive. Instead, he's doing the respectful play. You know, he has a minute of time that he can work with. He doesn't need to rush anything. And with $25,000 on the line, why would you rush it?
Yeah, and he's also being incredibly champion aware. Now he knows that his win condition has shifted from baiting Cha1n into an attack to just catching him with that first shot. But really, he's just kind of kiting him with these rockets. Cha1n even pushing forward with a rocket jump. 50 health, and he's still coming up the staircase, and he gets the frag anyway. Wow, amazing aggression coming out of Cha1n. Where was this a lot earlier? Did Cha1n maybe expect to die there? Well, sorry for you, Cha1n, but you managed to get a frag.
Problem is, he needs one more on the board just to take it to sudden death. He's got 30 seconds to do it. We saw how slow he was before in the last round against Toxjq. And again, Toxjq can just, like you said, sandbag the time the best he can. He's sitting here in towards power-up room.
That's got to be good for his confidence, though, just knowing that he can push in on Toxjq and manage to get some decent shots off. But all of that nail gun, Cha1n is going to be dropped down to 50 health, cannot show up for a heavy, cannot show up for mega. He's physically here, though. Rocket jumps in, and Cha1n goes down.
All right, so Toxjq going to be moving through to the quarterfinals now in that best of 1. On his way to try to challenge up at $25,000. And Cha1n, unfortunately, won't go much further in this tournament, but he still takes home quite a bit of change because of the CSL tournament that he did win yesterday.